hotuba yake. Asante.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellencies, Ambassador Henriette, and colleagues, Christine Yoka from the Africa French Development Bank, Karibuni, and colleagues, good afternoon. It's a pleasure, Your Excellency, to be really having you to witness contracts which ordinarily do not have to come to State House, and we want to thank you very much for really making time to this very, very important and very dear subject to your heart in terms of taking power to the people of Kenya. I do recall, Your Excellency, when I was Minister for Energy in 2013-2014, when you basically employed what most of the learned people borrow from what you call the Potter's competitive theory, where the cost of entry to the power system in Kenya was so prohibitive that nobody was able to get into the power system because they needed to have a one-off connection fee of 75,000. And it was just impossible to move 20,000 customers to the grid because for a long time we moved from 1.5 million to 1.6 million to 1.7 to 2.2 million in 2013. And since coming up with that very competitive framework that basically looks at time and cost of entry, looks at the economies of scale in terms of maximization of the transformer, looks at the cost advantages of ensuring that the transformer, a very huge investment, which has been basically put on the ground, can be leveraged on and connect maximum customers, and therefore have the customers connect slowly over a period of time. That was a huge barrier to entry for Kenyans. And I do remember sitting in your office and cutting down this cost of entry and having customers to pay over a long period of time. And today, we sit among as the leading African countries at 75% access to power, customers being connected without a payment, and yet we are able to recover all that cost. But let me also thank the development partners for coming in handy to support this cost. Your Excellency, what Ambassador Henriette did not mention is that the 30 million euros coming from the EU is a grant, plus that concession of 60 million euros, which is basically coming from, is it EIB, as a very well concession loan, and 90 million euros coming from the other colleagues. So thank you very much. We really appreciate this development. Your Excellency, we have in the pipeline French development. We confuse AFD and AFD. We have another French development bank coming in with another about 13 billion equivalent Kenya shillings on top of this, which will really help us to expedite the process and together work to achieve the connectivity or access at 100% by the turn of this decade. So I want to thank the development partners. Colleagues, why are we instead of signing contracts which could have been signed this morning at Kenya Power offices, witnessed by the President? It's because of the passion the President, I'm sure you'll be talking to that. And I just want to applaud, even as we start the 18 months journey to deliver, Your Excellency, on this connectivity program, that if we can do it in 12 months, we should do it in 12 months. If we can cut costs and connect more, Henriette, you did talk about 280,000 connections. I did look at what Ken, the gentleman in charge of this program, has done, and we have already optimized, and we are almost hitting a target of 300,000 for this amount. I'm sure we can stretch and even get more connections. And Your Excellency, the difference between the last mile connection and building infrastructure in roads is we touch people's lives. This power goes to the people's homes. And so we want to thank you, the contractors who are here today. The President, in a very short briefing, tells me he'll be coming to the ground to inspect. And you do know that before the President comes once, I need to be there 5 times. So really, Your Excellency, we will have to be on the run. We are running out of time. 2030 is around the corner. Let's do this quickly. Whereas the donors have given us 18 months, If we can do it in 12 months, we'll get more funding and get all Kenyans accessing power by the turn of this decade, Your Excellency. So I want to assure Your Excellency, if you are going to be visiting the ground, I'll be going to every project 5 times before you go once. You may go once only to commission, because you have got other national duties, like the very successful visit you have just done and made us proud. So colleagues, contractors, this is a serious project. We must really get value for money. We must do quality work. Siror, we are working together. We'll support you. Your Excellency, just in ending, you do know that we've been working on since we came to Cabinet with a paper to restructure the shareholding structure. Today we've got 4 board members from the private sector sitting against a 5-member structure in that shareholding structure of 49-50% for government. And therefore we've got the private sector infusing knowledge and supporting Kenya Power to work. We did say in our Kenya Kwanza manifesto, Your Excellency, that we are going to allow Kenya Power to operate as a commercial entity. And today, Siror has a big task in working on the power losses. We have given a target from 22% to 16% in 3 years, and we are working together to achieve that, so that we can bring down the cost of power. That's why it basically diverted and went there. Because whereas we are selling 12,000 gigawatt hours of power in a year, we cannot account for 3,000 gigawatt hours, and yet it is paid for to the generators. So working with Siror, we can bring down cost of power by reducing the losses, either in transmission, commercial, or by what Henry talked to in terms of energy efficiency. Your Excellency, thank you very much for accepting to grace this occasion. And we just want to reiterate to the contractors that we don't bring contracts to State House for signing. This commitment by the President, please help us and deliver, ensure that we do quality work and service those Kenyans who have not been serviced. We do have Kenyans, Your Excellency, who are on off-grid. We have got off-grid projects, which we'll be bringing next in areas where there is no grid. We have got other programs running. Allow me, Your Excellency, to now welcome you, and may we be upstanding to welcome His Excellency the President to make his remarks. Thank you, Your Excellency.